It was such a dramatic and epic moment. And so the waves were crashing, and he had, it was quite a struggle to get back into shore. But as I held onto that boat, he knew what he was doing. And so I just trusted him. I held onto that boat, and he brought me back to shore. And then when I was back on shore, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I hate the beach. That's not the moral of the story. The moral of the story is that lifesavers, their roles are voluntary. And they're out there to protect, to watch over, and to save lives. They are the unsung heroes. Unsung meaning unrecognized, unacknowledged, unknown. People don't just go to the beach and say, oh, lifesaver, congratulations, you're a hero. They don't get acknowledged like that. But that's what mothers are, they're lifesavers. Their role is to protect, their role is to watch over, and act as lifesavers. And I love Generation Fresh. Do you know what your word of the day is? Hero. So it should be a picture of your mom. But today we celebrate the role of the women because they are the unsung heroes. They are the lifesavers. The moments when, we needed them to pull through for us. Amazing, amazing role. So what are the specific roles of the women or the mother? One trait, next slide, is to be the giver of life. And it's similar to what Jesus did on earth. He was the giver of life. Just like when he breathed the breath, using the Holy Spirit, Jesus gave birth to Lazarus. And so, you mothers, you're not just here to exist. Women, you're not just here to exist. But when you do birth, it's not just physical babies. You have this capacity to birth dreams into people. You can birth vision into them. You can birth heart into them. You birth potential. So when the earth was empty, and it was dark, and it was void, amazing that God creates women, and he uses them to breathe life. It was not intended to be desolate. It was not intended to be barren. The mother of Jesus, in Matthew 1, verse 18, Mary was engaged to be married to Joseph. Before she was married, she was still a virgin, and she became pregnant through the power of the Holy Spirit. You see, next slide. She was pregnant through the power of the Holy Spirit. Next slide. You can be pregnant, not just with babies, but you get to house the presence of God. An amazing thought. And Mary got to depict that. Sarah, the wife of Abraham, mother of Isaac, was old. She was incapable of producing. Yet God caused her to be pregnant. Another example, Elizabeth, the mother of John the Baptist. She was known to be barren physically. But it says the Holy Spirit filled her, and she became pregnant. And so when I say you need to be pregnant, I'm not referring to you need to be pregnant with physical babies, but you need to be pregnant with the power of the Holy Spirit. Barrenness is not your nature. Barren in the spirit is not your nature. What am I saying about being pregnant? I'm talking about a spiritual pregnancy. To be filled to capacity with the Holy Spirit. Because to be barren, it means you are incapable of producing. And that is the very opposite of what God called you to be. It goes against the role of motherhood. Matthew 20:50 says, anyone who does the will is his mother, brother, and sister. So when you allow the Holy Spirit to impregnate you, you allow him to do a work internally. I'm sure because the men of God have their weekend away next weekend, you guys are going to be, empowering the men. But the word Adam, the first man ever created, do you know what his name meant? It's pretty epic. It meant man. Woo! I don't know why you're giggling, that's what it meant. It meant man. And it's derived to mean to be red. Red, the color red. And I was looking up the color red, what does that mean? And the color red represents a lot of things. The color red stands out. The color red represents blood. The color red represents courage. And this is what man, the word man, means. So, don't worry, Adam doesn't just mean man. Men, don't be disappointed. It means to make. And so I looked up to make means to build. You men, speaking to the men, there's a reason why physically you are created with more muscle tissue. There's a reason why, obviously, you're a lot bigger, taller than the women. And I believe it's to build. It's to build and construct, to make. There's a reason why you were made in that form. Notice that you don't see, giant women walking around and it's just small men everywhere. God made men with more muscle tissue for that very reason, to display as a metaphor that men, you are to build and make. Not just at the gym. Building muscle. But there's a role that you play. And I love that you guys are going away next weekend. Come on, men. Do something. Today we empower the women. So next weekend when you come back, men, we want to see you alive and not just, physically building, but building up the women, encouraging them, speaking life into them, placing value upon them. Because when you fail to place value on womanhood, the women begin to fight for it. And it shouldn't be like that. You should be placing that value on them. That's right. We love you, men. What are some of the strengths of the women? Women are strong too. Do you believe that, women? Amen. One of their strengths. Next. No? Okay, stay there. Okay, go back. Okay, one of the strengths of the women. You have the greatest privilege to bear labor pains. Okay, man, there's pain associated to that push. Apparently, it's never happened to me, but all you mothers know that there is a pain associated when you bring a baby into the world. Mothers, are you hearing me? There's that push and that scream, and I only know because I hear it in movies. It's not easy to bring something to life and to raise it. Mothers, you know that. It's not easy to bring something to life and to raise it. And Jesus knew that. He knew that with the story of Lazarus. It's not easy to bring something to life and to raise it. Right? Beautiful metaphor. Jesus knew that with his encounter at Lazarus' death, it was not easy. It's the women that carry the baby fat at the end.